never forget, Democrats and progressives win when voter turnout is high. Republicans win when people are demoralized and voter turnout is low.
All right, there he is, Bernie. Joining us now, Ted Rall, liberal columnist, syndicated political cartoonist, and author of Bernie. What great timing you had, Ted.
I did, Steve. I have to say I lucked out big time. You know, you do 19 books. Eventually one of them comes out at the right time.
Well, we just saw the book on screen. I presume that's your caricature there of Bernie. All right. You talk about, you called Bill Clinton a dino, like a takeoff of Rhino, Democrat in name only. You despise George W. Bush, most right-wing person in our modern history, etc. So you think that Bernie Sanders could actually win the nomination and then go on to become president of the United States?
Well, yeah, certainly it's a credible possibility. I mean, right now I would say it's still Hillary Clinton's to lose. It's maybe 55-45 in her favor. But, I wouldn't have said that a month ago. A month ago, I was telling people I thought the odds of Bernie being the nominee were perhaps 3 or 4 to 1. So things have changed. The momentum's on his side. And it's certainly possible to imagine a path that takes him to the nomination. And then depending on who the Republican nominee is, it's certainly possible to imagine Bernie prevailing over him. It's possible.
You talk about not to interrupt, you talk about the ineffectual candidacies of Dukakis and McGovern and how the party then shifted. How is Bernie Sanders any different, really, and have any more of a chance if he were to become the nominee, and we're not even conceding that, to win a general election than Dukakis or McGovern did? They got trounced.
Yeah, they sure did. I mean, but without getting into a history lesson here, these are very different times, and Bernie's a very different candidate than either Michael Dukakis or George McGovern. The personalities are different, the politics are different, the country has changed. I mean, Dukakis was running at the end of the 8 years of Ronald Reagan, and Reagan really did revolutionize the way that Americans view government. McGovern was hobbled by the Eagleton scandal, and he went into the general election in a lot of trouble. It wasn't all just because of liberal ideology that those two guys lost.
All right, let's talk about Hillary. Is Hillary not liberal enough for you?
Well, I think, no, she's not liberal enough for me, that's for sure. And clearly she's not liberal enough for the Democratic Party in 2016. A lot of people are wondering why Democrats on the left, progressives, are so mad at her while they liked her husband so much. But it's a very different time. 1992 and 2016 are not the same. People are still very angry about the 2008-2009 economic meltdown, and it's not just people on the left who are angry about that either, and the fact that the banks got bailed out, whereas millions of hardworking Americans lost their homes and lost their jobs and didn't get any help from the government. Obama was a big disappointment to many people on the left, and now Hillary Clinton is paying a price for that.
Would you like to see her release the transcripts of the Goldman Sachs speeches?
Well, of course. Transparency is always good. Yeah, she shouldn't have given those speeches, but yeah, the least she can do is release the transcripts.
All right, so going forward, let's look at last night. Bernie Sanders clobbered her in New Hampshire. She had won New Hampshire 8 years ago. She lost every demographic. The only people she appealed to, the only demographic she appealed to, were old women, 65 plus.
Right.
Yet, do you feel, as many do, that she'll be rescued by the fact that South Carolina has a huge black vote, and so do many of the other states going forward?
Well, that's certainly the handicapping, and that's the conventional wisdom at this stage. And conventional wisdom isn't always wrong, so it might be right in this case. Now, that said, the South Carolina tracking polls still show Hillary with a sizable lead, but it's narrowing. And that's been the trend throughout this campaign. In Iowa, he closed a 40-point lead. In New Hampshire, he's always been favored to win, but he won by much higher margin than expected. And let's not forget, in 2008, it was hers to lose against Barack Obama, and she still managed to do it. I think the more people get to know Hillary Clinton, the more they hear from her, the more that she campaigns, in a way, the worse she does. Maybe she would be smart to just call in sick the rest of the campaign and hope for the best. Now, the so-called firewall, I think, is in danger as people in the South start to pay closer attention, which they will do as the dates of Super Tuesday and of on the 22nd of this month when South Carolina rolls around. So, you know, it's not urgent yet, but it will be urgent, and people are going to be paying closer attention, especially given what happened in New Hampshire. Iowa was a big surprise, too, but it didn't get the attention that New Hampshire
Right, less than 0.25%. All right, listen, Ted, good luck with the book. Great to talk to you. Let's have you on more as this campaign progresses. Ted Rall, the book, Simple Bernie. Appreciate it, Ted. Give Me 5 is next, ladies and gentlemen. Don't you go away.